Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we're going to keep going on our negative positive space Chalice project. So you're probably like, Mrs. Cole, I just cut my face out and transferred it to cardstock. What am I going to do? So we're going to go through a few steps today. We're going to turn some negative space into an illusion of a chalice, and it's going to look really cool, I hope. So you last week cut out your picture on the paper and we traced it onto something thicker, like some thicker paper, and then you cut it out again. So we're really working on those scissor skills because I really want you to focus on smooth cutting, especially around your nose and your lips. So in class, we got a little bit further than you did on NTI, but that's okay. We actually went ahead and kind of cut out part of our forehead to make it look more like a cup. Because remember, a chalice is just a really fancy cup. And if we were to do it now, it doesn't really have a cup shape. So what I want you to do is follow the line of your nose and up on your forehead. And right when your forehead starts to curve, like right about here, and it'll be different on your picture because depending on your forehead, this is my daughter's face. So right when my line starts to curve back, I'm going to put a dot there. So I'm just putting a little dot there to help me see. Okay, not too bad. And if yours is down a little bit lower, that's fine too. Some people in class, that might be a little too high. So it's up to you. You don't want it down here by your nose. You want a little bit up for your nose. So maybe when the bridge of your nose starts to curve, so maybe I will have it down a little bit lower. So I'm going to put it a little bit lower. It doesn't matter. This is your tracer. So if you don't like the way you draw it the first time, you can draw over it. So now we're going to just create a curve here. All right, and oh, my computer's being a little silly. Let me turn the. All right, let me do this in a different. I'll do it in a darker color. So you want to create a cup out of this by creating a bowl. So I'm going to start where my dot is. I'm going to bring it out, and I'm going to kind of come up. So it should look like half a cup, and it is kind of important that your chalice or the half of a U we're cutting out kind of ends up on straight. So if you go straight out, you're gonna have more of a bowl. If you come back up, it's gonna be more of a cup. So if you don't like the way the first one looks, you can always draw over it again because this is your tracer. So once you get it the way you like it, then go ahead and cut it out. So we're just gonna cut on that line using the back of our scissors. We don't want to cut from the tip of our scissors because we won't get a nice smooth line. We're steering with our non-cutting hand. All right. So now we have this interesting shape. I don't love how this is kind of angled. So I'm going to go in my scissors and cut it a little flatter and just kind of reshape my cup. Okay. So if we start thinking about as it's a cup, this is a whole cup. So it starts to look a little bit more cup-like. So once you have that, you are ready to rock. So I bent my nose. So the one I did in class, I had a longer piece of folder. So I ended up with a much longer curve. Now it's easy for me to cut this down, or it's easy to make this curve higher. So if you don't have a lot of forehead space before you cut yours out last week, which is fine, when we trace this, you can make that line a little bit longer to make it a longer cup like this one. So I'll show you on this one that I kind of goofed on when I cut it out. So I think yours is going to have the same problem. You have a really shallow cup, and I'll show you how to do that. So once you have this is your tracer. You're all set. You need to get a large piece of yellow or gold paper. I'm using a golden color paper. It's not really showing up so great on the camera here, but trust me, it's a nice gold color. It's 12 by 18, and I want to fold it in half. So you're gonna need a big piece of paper because you need to fit your head on this, okay? So if you do a 9 by 12 construction paper, I don't think you're gonna have enough room to do this. You might. You can just play around. We're gonna use something with the extras later. So you wanna have a nice big piece of paper and you wanna fold it in half. And you wanna pay attention to where the crease is. I'm going to pull my camera up a little bit so you can see most of my paper. Okay. My folded edge is on this side, or it could be on this side. It doesn't matter. What you need to pay attention to is where your folded edge is, because we're going to trace our tracer, and we're going to cut through two sides of it. So when we open it up, that's what makes the chalice. So I'm going to get my tracer, and our nose of our person is going to face the folded edge, okay? So if you might be able to do this on a 9 by 12, let's see. I don't know. Let's see, if you had a 9 by 12, it wouldn't really fit. So we're going to stick with this 12 by 18 by 12. So you want it two pieces. You need that folded edge. Your nose goes to the folded edge. And you don't want to put it right on the edge because that won't make an interesting shape. So what I'm trying to show you is this is going to be the bottom of our cup. And then this will be the handle where you'd hold your chalice. And we don't want it right to the edge. So I want to decide how wide I want this to be. Now remember, it's going to be double. So you want at least a finger width between the tip of your nose and the folded edge of your paper. Now, I'm going to bring it down. I said I didn't love how short my cup was. So I'm not putting this all the way at the top like this. I'm bringing it down a little bit so I can decide to make the cup taller. Once you get it where you like it, at least a finger between you or nose and the edge. You could do a little wider. That's up to you. I might do a little wider. I might do closer to that. Almost 2 fingers for me, but that's a personal choice. That's your first artistic decision. Now my paper is a little bit long down here, and that's okay. I'm just going to trace my tracer, holding it nice and still and nice and straight. And go all the way down. And if you didn't do a neck on yours and yours just kind of cuts off here, I want you to kind of go from the edge of your face instead of going across. I want you to kind of angle your pencil down so you have something that has a curve to it. So when I take off my tracer, so instead of going straight across, if your head just kind of ends here, I want you to curve it down a little bit because that will be the base of our cup. And we want a nice good base. So if you like how shallow or tall yours is, leave it. I didn't love mine, so I'm just going to extend that line. So now I'm going to have more of a cup, all right? If you decide looking at this, oh, this is going to be too thick, you could also bring this line in a little bit and decide to cut here instead. Again, it's your choice. This is going to be the back side, so nobody's going to see it. So you can decide, I don't mind having a really wide cup because it's more to decorate. Down here, you're going to just draw a straight line, as straight as you can, to help you remember to cut. All right? So I'm just drawing a nice, as straight as I can line. And if you wanted to put this at the bottom of your paper to make it easier, that's fine too. So either you have the bottom of your edge of your paper for the bottom of your cup, and then you put a line at the top. However that works. We just want to make sure we have a complete cup. So then once you have it traced, make sure that folded edge is by your nose. Pick up both pieces of paper and start cutting out. Cutting out very carefully using the back of your scissors to start your cut. We don't want to cut from the tip of our scissors because you won't get a very smooth cut when you're just snipping at the front. So we're going to go carefully around. So this will be the 3rd time you're cutting your face. It's the last, hopefully. And you're going to go around your lips really careful. Remember, you're steering with your non-cutting scissors. And if there's something you don't like, you can fix it. So I'm going to bring mine in just a little bit closer. I'm going off to the edge. So you can keep this, and now when you open it, you can see your 2 faces. So it's the positive space is the yellow, and the negative space makes the chalice, which is really cool. So having the scraps, we're going to do something fun with that if for free time. So if you want to keep these scraps and do something fun with this, you can. If not, you can recycle that. But for this project, you need this paper. And if you did it successfully, when you open it up, you now have a golden chalice. Pretty cool, right? So you need to fit your chalice on a black piece of construction paper. We're again using 12 by 18 going vertical. If you don't have that paper at home, because it's hard to find that like at craft stores this size, I have it at school. I'm happy to leave it in the office for you to come pick up. So on this part, I want you to take some glue stick and glue your chalice so it's as close to the center as you can and at the bottom. So then you have quite a bit of space at the top. That's okay. If you don't want it all the way at the bottom, you can bring it up a little bit and have just a little bit of space. Maybe I like it, it kind of floats, but this is kind of a mystical, whimsical kind of thing. So I'm gonna put about 2 fingers of black paper. So it has kind of a border. You know, I like a border. And I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down. Then you're gonna have all this space up here at the top, and I'll tell you what we're gonna do there in a second. So go ahead and get a glue stick if you have a glue stick, which I don't have a glue stick. Or you can use liquid glue, which you'll need that too. But go ahead and glue with either regular liquid glue or glue stick your chalice down to your black paper, and I'll be back to tell you how we're going to decorate it. All right, I found my glue stick and I got a piece of paper to protect my black paper. You don't ever want to glue glue stick directly onto the paper you're gluing it to because it'll get sticky. So I just have a piece of spare paper to help me catch the edges, because you want to really glue with your glue stick every little bit of this chalice. So I'm kind of moving it around and I have that paper underneath it. Close my glue stick. I'm going to place my chalice about 2 fingers up and as close to the center as I can get it. Now I put glue on the wrong edge side, and I can tell because I can see my pencil lines. I'm not going to worry about that too much. And I also am gluing a little bit crooked. So catch it before you smooth it down, okay? And then use your side of your fist, kind of smooth it down gently, making sure there's no wrinkles. So if you did like I did and oops, there's some pencil line, I glued the wrong side, which happens. Just erase that pencil line as best you can. Tells me I didn't cut as close as I thought I would. All right, just do your best to get rid of that pencil first. That's gonna just help it glue. So once you got it, then turn it over. Since we use glue stick or even liquid glue, we wanna give it a really good back rub. So rubbing everywhere you think that paper is, that helps it really warm up the glue and help stick all the sides. And everything needs a good back rub. All right. So now I have my chalice glued down. You can still see your face. Your face is in the negative space of the art. So the negative space created the positive chalice. So it's a really cool thing. So for communion, you're a piece of this artwork, which I absolutely love. So we have our chalice glued down, 2 fingers underneath it, and we have all this space at the top. You need to get a piece of white paper, something thicker because we're going to glue it. You could be printer paper or white construction paper. I just have a piece of drawing paper that we had around. And I want you to cut a circle, a nice big circle. That's going to be the host. You don't want the host bigger than the lip of your cup, but you also don't want it teeny tiny. So if our cup is this big, the host is going to be pretty big. So if you want to draw it out first, you're more than welcome to. So you can draw your circle. You can fold your paper in half and draw the half circle and then cut it out that way. Sometimes I think that's easier. So I have my paper folded in half. I'm going to sketch out a half circle and try and filling up that space as best I can. And this is going to be the back, so I can kind of be sketchy about it. I know my lighting is kind of going out on me. So see, I did my half circle. Sorry, it's so bright in the art room today. Let's see if I can draw it darker. You don't need to draw this dark. I just want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. So I'm just really sketching out a half circle. Much better. And then I'm going to cut it out. So if I did my half circle, making sure the center was on that fold, when I open it up, I should have a pretty good size circle put together. Voila. So I find folding it in half, doing the half moon, and then cutting it. That's what we're gonna do in class versus trying just to draw it, because it's really hard to draw a perfect circle. So I like, it's big, it's not bigger than my cup, but it's not too small. So then I want you to find the middle. You want to put your circle or your host in the center between this two. So once you figure out a good center spot, you don't want it resting on your cup. We want to have a little bit of space. Go ahead and find your oops side. Remember, we don't want to glue directly on our paper. So I found my scratch paper and I'm going to glue all around it. And again, you can use glue stick for this, making sure you get those edges, or you can use liquid glue. So whatever you have at home. So it helps we have that center line, and we have the center line on our chalice. I'm going to kind of line those up until I feel like I have about the same amount of space at the top and the bottom, and I'm going to use my fist and really give that a massage. Okay, so that's probably going to take our class a good chunk to do, but I think we're going to get to decorating. So this is your video for Tuesday and Wednesday. So if on Tuesday, this is all you get time for, great. Then on Wednesday, depending on how far we get, we're gonna start decorating and designing our chalice. So this is where you can have fun. You're gonna need some liquid glue or some glitter glue. If you're using liquid glue, you wanna get some glitter. And then if you have gems or sequins, you could do that. So go ahead and gather those supplies. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so for this next part, you're gonna want to have all kinds of fun things for your chalice in your host to decorate. I found some sequins. You can use glitter and regular glue. So you'll need the regular liquid glue with the glitter, or you can use glitter glue, whatever you have at home, really. If you don't have any of this stuff, you could use markers. Oil pastels might work to do your design here. It's really up to you and your parents at home to what you can use. There's lots of things you can do. I have some oil pastels with me just in case you don't have all this stuff. And I had to borrow some of the stuff from Miss Warland and Mrs. Singer so we could use it. So your host, you can decide if you want to put a cross inside of it. You can decide if you want to put some lines kind of radiating out like the host is kind of glowing. Your chalice, you can add lines and you could add little sequins, and you could decide to make like rows. There might be some jewels in here. So when you're doing your sequins, if you have that, you could decide to put a pattern or just kind of make a really cool row of something. Again, it's up to you. When you do your designs, I want you to think about what a really fancy, ornate chalice would look like. And we might look some up on the computer, and if I find some, I can put them in. So usually they have like some encrusted jewelry or jewels and gems or sometimes linear pattern. So I don't want to see the scribbly, and I don't think you would do that. If you don't have any of these fun things, you can pull out your oil pastels and decorate that way. So I'm going to take my blue because I know blue will show up really well. And maybe I want to add a line of circles because maybe those blue circles remind me of sapphires. And you can do a combination. I'm going to let your classmates decide. You don't have to do circles. You could do diamonds. You could do squares. It's your design. You are designing your own chalice made out of your faces. So it's pretty cool. So remember, if you're using oil pastels, tap away the crumbs. Don't smear the crumbs. So that's one way to do it, and you can design the edge. If you want to add a cross to the middle of your host, you can, or you can do lines kind of coming out from the host, kind of like rays of sun, and I'm kind of alternating long and short lines, but you can do whatever feels right for you as the artist. So you are just going to kind of have fun with this as a decorate. So if you have some glitter at home and you're not really sure how to use it, I can show you how. So you take your glue and you're just going to glue right on top in a nice kind of thick line. Nice and smooth. I kind of went off there a little bit. Up my glue bottle has a clog, so you kind of have to pull your nose up off the paper a little bit. Try to keep it straight as best you can. I want it kind of thick here at the edge. Okay. The thing about glitter and glitter glue is it takes a really long time to dry, so you just have to be really careful letting it dry. So it depends on what color sparkles you have. I have some gold here. I would do this over like a box top normally, or a Tupperware or a bowl, because once you sprinkle on your glitter, you're going to kind of let it set, and then you're going to tap it into a bowl or a box top, which I don't have, but I'm going to use my garbage. Yeah. I have a piece of paper underneath me, so I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to sprinkle off the glitter, and when I'm done, you're left with this really cool glitter line. So that's how you use glitter. And if you want to change your colors, so say I want to do gold glitter here, and I want to do a different color glitter here, do each glitter separately, because if you mix them together, when you take them off, they'll all mix up. If you use glitter glue, which I found this at Target actually, and you could decide if you want to do like a zigzag line or something this way. So the glitter glue is really fun. It also takes a long time to dry. You don't have the mess of using actual glitter in your house, which your parents might like. So it doesn't matter what colors you use. It doesn't matter your design. I just want you to really take your time and think about it. You can use glitter glue. You can use sequins or jewels or buttons. You can use oil pastels or crayons or even markers. Whatever feels right to you, you can go ahead and use. So maybe in between my oil pastels, I want to add some sequins. Again, up to you. If you need anything to help you with this, I can share some sequins with you in a bag. I can share some glitter in a bag. I don't have enough glitter glue to share, because I only have this one big thing that Mrs. Cole's going to go around and help. So I just put my finger in my glitter glue. Try not to do that. If you accidentally do what I just do, just kind of mush it around with a Q-tip or things like that. So if you want to use sequins, you can just really have fun with this. I know you're super creative, and you'll have fun with this. I cannot wait to see your chalice when you're done. Just be thoughtful about it, use good craftsmanship, and take your time, because we want this to be really special for our first communion. If you want to write a date down here at the bottom or your name, you could do that. Again, it's really up to you. I think at class, we're just going to leave them really simple. That way, if when you take this home, if somebody wants to write on it with a metallic Sharpie, they can. But that's it. Have fun. Don't go too crazy, but have fun and really get into having fun with this chalice. I can't wait to see it. So when you're all done, this will be due on Friday, so you have all week to work on this. Take a really clear picture for me and upload it to our assignment. So have a great time. If you have any questions this week or you need any supplies, please let me know. I'm happy to leave them in the office. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.